If I find you in my sights, you'll meet the Reaper and a coffin. Got a Phoenix fully stalking, keep it peace with every shotgun. 3 of you, 1 of me is way too easy. Who you mocking? This ain't shocking, done with talking. IQ plays with Stephen Hawking, 3K damage every game. I keep it auto, so I'm trapping, yeah.
I'll get that spooky ghost boy.
How's it going, everyone? Ghost here, back with another Valorant guide. This guide is obviously, as you can tell, about Phoenix. So Phoenix's first ability is called Blaze. He has 1 charge of these and it costs 200 credits. So his Blaze is basically a firewall that can heal himself and deal damage to enemies.
Going up.
So that's what it looks like, and when you stand in it, it actually heals you. And then when enemies stand in it, it does damage to them. So his firewall can go straight ahead.
Going up.
And it has a pretty far distance. It's kind of like Viper's smoke wall, but it's only single use per round, and it doesn't go as far and it can't go through walls. Also similar to Jet's Cloudburst, he can also control the direction it goes in, so he can make it curve. So if you press the fire button and hold it down and move your crosshair in a certain direction,
going up,
it'll curve the wall, so you can actually block off entrances as well, which is pretty handy. So it's not only just for healing and doing damage, it's good for blocking off entrances, exits, choke points, and whatever area you need to push onto. So just say we're pushing onto Ascent through B, and you want to have a clear walk down Cat. You just get your firewall up and then make it curve, and then you can walk around and you'll be completely covered from Market and B long. B long. Alright, so this is the enemy Phoenix putting up his firewall. That's the extent it goes to, and as you can see, it does damage to me while I stand in it. And it can kill me if I stand in it for any longer. But then, if I need a heal, I just put my firewall down, stand in it, and it heals me. So only the Phoenix who cast his firewall can heal himself. If you stand in an enemy Phoenix firewall, it doesn't heal you. And it does more damage than it does healing. So as you saw, I was on 150 health, and the Phoenix's firewall put me down to 3 HP, and my firewall only healed me by 50. So it does more damage than it does healing.
Joke's over! You're dead!
Alright, so Phoenix's second ability is called Curveball. It's basically a short-range flash. So his curveball pretty much does what it sounds like. It curves. So you can either right-click or left-click, and it'll curve to whichever side you click on. So if you left-click, it'll curve to the left, just like that. If you right-click, it'll curve to the right. So it's good for pushing close corners. As I said, it is a short-range flash. It's not a long-range flash like Yorus or Breaches or even Skies. It's used for close quarters pretty much. So just if you want to push into a site or a area through a doorway or something, just use your curveball, and it's good for pushing onto an area. But the thing is, with Phoenix's curveball, a lot of players stand too far behind, and when they try to use their flash, it bounces off the wall surface and flashes yourself and teammates. That's why you see a lot of memes where it says that Phoenix flashes himself and his teammates, like enemy team flashed 0, teammates flashed 5. So you just got to be careful of where you stand. So about like not too close to the edge, so you don't have to be here, but around here is good to do a flash around the corner. So just like that, and you do a perfect flash. I don't know why people stuff it up. It's not that difficult to do. Like, you stand, and then depth perception, unless you have pretty bad depth perception, you just curve it, and you can do it pretty far away, but if you keep going further, it'll eventually bounce off the wall and flash yourself. So you can do it left, right, and you have 2 charges, so you can do it twice in a round. And yeah, it is a short range flash, and it also lasts for a short amount of time. So this is the perspective of when you get flashed by the enemy Phoenix flash. So as you can see, it doesn't last too long, but you do get a short amount of time to look away from it, but not too much. And then this is me flashing the enemy Phoenix. So as you can see, it wears off pretty quickly, and when you turn away from it as well, it also wears off even faster. So with his curveball, you can even bounce it off the ground, just like that, if you want to do a very close range flash, because if I flash it like this, it'll go behind them and it wears off quicker. So if I do a bounce flash on the ground and turn away from it, it flashes them longer than it flashes me. So this is not that effective because it pops around here, which is out of their field of view, whereas the one I bounce on the ground pops in their field of view. And you can also, say you're playing on Ascent, you can also do a flash under heaven. So you just stand around here, pop your flash, and they instantly flash like that without you being flashed. So you can just stand on the edge of heaven and just flash under like that. You can do it both ways, just like that. And if you want to, you can also flash above you. So here's a flash above heaven, just like that. So you just throw it up, it flashes them just like that. So you can do it left and right, pretty easy. So that's Phoenix's flash, and now let's talk about his signature ability, Hot Hands. Okay, so let's talk about his signature ability, Hot Hands. Okay, thank you. Your services are no longer required until a further 1 minute or so. So Phoenix's signature ability is basically a molly. It does damage. It's like his firewall. It does damage to enemies, but it also heals himself. So I stand in my molly, it does healing for me. But if an enemy stands in it, it does damage to them. And his molly isn't as far range as Brimstone's molly, so if I throw it, if I try to throw it far, it'll peak and then drop straight away. So it won't continue in that arc kind of shape. It'll stop at a certain point and then vertically drop straight away. So if I throw it like that, it won't continue its arc. It'll just drop straight down from where the arc stops. So I can throw it up like this, and then it'll hit a certain point and then drop down fairly quickly. You can also do an underarm throw. So if you want to heal yourself, you just chuck yourself against a wall or in a corner, just underarm throw, and you can heal yourself like that instead of just doing a big throw and it bounces back. Because it does bounce, but not that much of a bounce. It's pretty small bounce. Because as you can see, it does do that dip. It doesn't continue that arc. If it continued the arc, it'll probably bounce further. But since it stops and just drops for some reason, I don't know how physics works in Valorant, but it just stops traveling in that continuous arc. Alright, so now this is the enemy Phoenix throwing down his molly. As you can see, it does a lot of damage to me and I die. So it does do a lot of damage over a short amount of time. So with Phoenix's molly and firewall, it does more damage than it does healing. So if you're on really low health, you can use your molly and your firewall at the same time to heal yourself, but that's to the extent of your abilities. So your molly and your firewall combined will heal you back to 100. If you're on, say, like 5 HP, it will heal you back to 100. But just those abilities alone won't heal you back to 100 if you're really low. So if you're on 5 HP and you throw your molly down, it won't heal you back to 100. Same with your firewall. Now let's talk about Phoenix's ultimate ability, Run It Back. So Phoenix's Run It Back is basically a second life. So it costs 6 ult points, and when you activate it, it does that and leaves like a little mark behind. So that's when the timer runs out, that's where you'll teleport back to. So you can go anywhere on the map and then you'll end up back here. So when you ult with Phoenix, you generally want to ult it when you're pushing onto site or a contested area. So if I push onto there and see an enemy and he kills me, I return back to my spot where I ulted. So when Phoenix's ult, he can get a pick like this. So he sees someone and he can get a pick, and he can keep doing it until he either gets killed or his run it back times out, and he'll go back to his teleporter where he can continue playing the game even if his ult gets killed. So when Phoenix's ult, and if he doesn't get a pick and he gets killed, he'll just return back here. But if he does get a kill, the kills will stay the same. So if he gets, say, 2 kills, those kills are permanent, whereas if he dies, it's not permanent. It will just revert back to where his ult was initiated. But you got to be careful where you start your ult, because people can camp it and try and find Phoenix's ult. So a lot of people do find Phoenix's ult when he does it, because it's very predictable where he would usually ult. I have a few clips of me outbraining Phoenix and just finding his ult and camping it until it wears out. But yeah, just be careful where you ult, because you want to ult in a generally safe area.
Joke's over! You're dead!
So when the enemy Phoenix is ulting, just be careful where the people are, because if the ulted Phoenix doesn't see where the person is, then the Phoenix can get killed just like that. So once his ult runs out, people will generally camp his ult and just wait for the easy kill. So that's the Phoenix guide. I hope you guys found that useful. I hope you learned something from that. That was just a pretty basic video, not too complicated, just for beginners pretty much. But yeah, I hope you guys found it useful. Hope you learned something. I'll be putting up another guide very soon. Planning to get every single agent done before this new agent comes out, so hopefully I can do that fairly soon. But until next time, have a good day, have a good week, however long it takes for me to put out the next video, and I'll see you guys in that next video. Bye.